So good morning everyone. Today you're all assembled here. Can you tell me why? Mm-hmm. Great. I'm happy to hear the term cognitive reserve. So somebody is aware why they are here. May I ask you, what do you understand by the term cognitive reserve?
It's the reserve of all the cognitive functions that I have acquired over the years.
Not bad. Jivita, anything you want to add? Okay. Good. You all here for this workshop, right? On how to improve one's cognitive reserve. What really is cognitive reserve? In this introductory session to the cognitive reserve, we will touch upon three basic elements. One is, what is cognitive reserve? Here we will touch upon the definition of cognitive reserve. What is our current understanding from the latest research and science? What is more important is, why should I know about it, right? At this juncture, at this time, why should I know about cognitive reserve? How is it relevant to me? Third, very important, having known, how have we organized the cognitive reserve related content in these 5 sessions that you will participate, right? And how is it very practically relevant for us, and how the training program is going to address this aspect is something that you will touch upon. This is the preliminary session of where we try to help you understand what really is cognitive reserve. Before understanding what is cognitive reserve, let's try and spend some time on cognition per se, right? I'm sure this is a term that everyone is very familiar. In fact, last 2 decades, the growing body of research, knowledge, and the sophisticated diagnostics that have emerged, I think we're able to peep into the brains and know about brains much more than we ever knew. For a long time, we thought brains wouldn't change as much, right? Brains, if at all they grow, change mainly in the children. But after a certain age, in the adult and the elderly, it doesn't. But when we found neuroplastic evidence, the brains continue to change as a result of stimuli from outside, training, input, and continuous exposure. We realize that brain is malleable, brain is plastic. It is not really rigid as we thought it to be. That's where this world of neuroplasticity and continuous exploration has led to understanding of cognitive reserve as well. So before I go into cognitive reserve, let's spend some time on cognition. What is cognition, basically? One fundamental difference between us as human beings and the rest of the life forms, what really decides us as a differentiator, and you all know it's the brain, right? The advanced functions that the brain does compared to many other, right? We're able to think, we're able to reason out things, we're able to argue, we're able to plan, we're able to decide, make choices. Good or bad doesn't matter, but all these additional faculty functions are there. And they're all grouped together to be known as cognition. The cortex or the gray matter in the brain, human brain. And that deals with cognition. And particularly there are some parts like prefrontal cortex in the front, which really give us the edge that other life forms may not have. That is cognition, right? Now, what do you mean by reserve? Reserve is as simple as, let us say, balance, right? If you have a good bank balance, would you be happy in life, right? Similarly, studies have shown those who have good reserve of cognitive capacity, through various processes, if they really gathered a good cognitive reserve capacity, and when they enter into elderly age, its research says they are less vulnerable to the changes that otherwise result as related to age-related dementia or stroke or any other. In some way, they're protected against the vulnerabilities that naturally aging and very other stroke-related disorders can have. So that's led to scientists thinking and concluding that if you can build a good cognitive reserve when during adulthood, during our middle age. And when we enter into elderly, we're actually gracefully walking into because we're carrying a good amount of cognitive reserve. A good number of research studies have shown. Also, there's a direct link between how we live our lifestyle in terms of my sleeping pattern, in terms of my diets, in terms of exercises, in terms of my social engagement, in terms of how do I live my life. Direct result of lifestyle on the cognitive reserve. As a result of these studies, at this juncture we can confidently say there are these cognitive reserve friendly lifestyles and practices and behaviors which, if you are conscious during my adult and elderly middle age, if I'm conscious and really organize my lifestyle around, I can actually build a good cognitive reserve. That's why, friends, you're all here today to understand what is this cognitive reserve all about and how the lifestyles can actually improve or impact cognitive reserve, and how do I learn few practical tips in addition to the theoretical knowledge that I gather to be able to practically work upon my individual lifestyle in a way that can continuously impact my cognitive reserve. In some way, if I really assume this lifestyle that is beneficial to the building of cognitive reserve, directly I am actually impacting my quality of life. So if we can really organize our lifestyles directly, there is that impact on the quality of life. Of the many number of lifestyle parameters that impact cognitive reserve, few stand out very strongly than the rest. And there are a good number of research articles that articulate, and I would invite all of you to explore it in your leisure. Fundamentally, our physical health is crucial. Simple aspects, my blood pressure being in control, my sugar levels being in control, my mental health, well-being. Studies show that those who are under tremendous stress, are suffering from depression, they have poorer cognitive reserve. As again, those who are calm, those who are able to lead life in certain sense of confidence, blood pressure fluctuations, sugar and many other hormones do have impact on the brain as well. Thirdly, sleep. These are times when our sleeps are really disrupted. There is going to be a separate session on how sleep impacts cognitive reserve, but suffice it to say that sleep reduced or excessive and the quality of sleep, much more than quantity, does impact a cognitive reserve in great ways. What is also coming out as a very strong research finding is, how do we engage in the society? Am I a loner or am I a social person? Those who are more engaged socially, those who are able to communicate, connect with the environment around, be it the family, society, those who take the time out to participate in some volunteer activities, right? Those who take time to organize social activities, participate in various, it shows that their cognitive reserve is good as well, as against somebody who is not as communicative or who is very reserved. So social engagement is very critical. Even interventions such as meditation, relaxation are very, very friendly to the functioning of the cognitive reserve. Two other parameters: novelty, challenge. Brain is an organ that always likes to explore, learn new things. And more you treat the brain with newer things to learn, greater. Very often what happens after 15, 20 or 25, we actually stop learning. It's children which learn the most, and neuroplasticity is at its peak during childhood. Later on, oh, I don't think I can learn something new. Oh, this is enough for my life. This is enough for my bread and things. So we stop learning. In a way, we are actually dismissing our cognitive faculty. Research shows those who continue to learn new things every now and then. Even there are instances after 40s, after 50s, if you learn to learn a new language or a new skill, suddenly there's neuroplastic evidence. So in a way, give yourself something new, refreshing. More importantly, challenge yourself. If you have gotten into a certain soft corner, comfort zone, shake yourself up. Simple things. Let us say you use your right hand for brushing your teeth. Tomorrow use the left hand. See how much you struggle. As you at a physical level you may be struggling, but brain enjoys this challenge. Within 3-4 days, the new connections that happen, and you become a master at brushing using your left hand as well. In the process, you already built cognitive reserve. So there is where novelty and challenge become really important. Physical, particularly I would like to talk about diet and exercises. I think today, invariably, 90% of the illnesses have roots in the things that we consume, right? Things that we eat. Of course, there are also other aspects of gadgets and media and how we engage. But diets, lifestyle, exercise become really important, and you will have some specific sessions on how diets impact cognitive reserve and how we have to be very careful in terms of our nutrition, what we eat, the quality of food we eat, how much we eat. Exercise, they have a direct. Exercise helps improve the flow of the blood and helps in release of certain chemicals and specific hormones which are conducive to neurogenerative action, and you will hear about those in subsequent sessions as well. What also comes out in the research is somebody who has higher purpose to his or her life, there also cognitive reserve seems to be on a higher side. So you can suddenly think the simple aspects of having higher goals for oneself, time and again taking stock, reflecting on these aspects, trying to address issues to be able to achieve the higher, they also can stimulate cognitive reserve. So that way, friends, cognitive reserve as an idea, as a concept has attracted huge attention. Some of us who have been exploring for the last few years have found it very, very interesting and very relevant practically as well. In the context, we realize there is cognitive reserve related lifestyle that one has to pay attention, and to be able to give that impetus, we launch these programs and we call it retreat, because even as a elderly or a middle-aged or we can restart anytime. So that's a brief background about what is cognitive reserve, why is it important, and how the program is planned. Specifically, we have picked up some special sessions which we think are a lot more important than others. So, and sessions are wound around those topics. Sleep is there, exercise is there, nutrition, novelty and challenge, alongside a lot of practical activities. You will be even given a workbook so you can continue to work during the weekdays as well. Whatever new thing that you would learn, you'll also learn some practical areas to apply upon, and through the week you'll be trying to work on it. So we really want it to be an enjoyable experience as well as a very practical experience, and more importantly, it should really change the lifestyle in a way that can build your balance, your cognitive reserve, so you can gracefully walk into the future. With that, thank you so much. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take.